Hello, welcome to Easy English. So today, I want to find out what the people of Brighton think of the Spanish. Now our friends over at Easy Spanish are making the counter question to this. What do the Spanish think of the Brits? Which you can watch up here. This is what Brits think of the Spanish. Here we go. What is your opinion of the Spanish?
I just love their food and their climate.
I think they're very nice people, very friendly and lovely.
Will do anything for you.
Oh really?
Yeah, very over the top. You know, nothing's too much trouble.
Really generous people?
Very generous people, yeah.
Wow, how amazing.
Yeah. You always get nuts with your beer.
Okay, Spanish people are really passionate. They have a really passion to get their point across, and it sounds to the English people like they're arguing or shouting, and they're not.
What do you think of the Spanish?
Of the Spanish people.
Of Spanish people, yeah.
Okay, well, me as a Spanish, I think we are all kind of nice people. Yeah, good people to hang out with. Yeah.
Could you tell me what are your thoughts on the Spanish?
Spanish as a whole, I love Spain. I love the different regions.
Yeah.
I love the language, food, love the culture. I spent a lot of time living in Zaragoza back in the 80s. I love Barcelona. The architecture and everything else that goes with it. I hope the Spanish people think the same about the British.
Tell me first, what are your general thoughts on the Spanish?
I mean, do you want to go first?
I find them fine, friendly, helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, would tend to think maybe a bit of a cliche, but very happy-go-lucky and loving life. And
Yes, they do.
And, yeah.
Love fun, eat out late, enjoy their life.
Yeah.
They do.
Actually, that's amazing, the eating out late. That always catches me out. Because,
Yeah.
you go out to eat at like 7 or 6:30 or 7 or something, and it's like nobody's even ready until
No,
like
they go out about
10.
10
Yeah,
with
which
the
is
kids, yeah.
which blows our mind.
And you like this? This is a positive
Unless
thing.
I'm hungry.
Yes,
it's a good thing.
yes, but it's just
No, it's not free digestion.
That's true. That's true. It's just different. It's
Yeah.
just different.
Different.
But that's something that the English sometimes could think, oh, that's a bit unusual.
I think they're happy to show their emotions in
Yep.
general.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And in all ways, not just being sort of voluble, but they will discuss. I've worked with quite a few Spanish
that's
people, and
true.
they're always very happy to give feedback, and they're very open. I would say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Spain have you been?
I have been to Barcelona, I have been to Mallorca, I have been to Lanzarote.
Okay. Have you been to Spain, firstly, I guess?
Yeah.
Yes.
And whereabouts in Spain did you go?
Where did we go?
Alicante, Denia,
Denia.
Alicante,
Oh, right, okay.
and Gran Alicante, and quite a few places in Spain.
Okay.
The first villa, well, this was my mother-in-law's villa. That was
Yeah.
in Benidorm.
Okay.
But about 15 years ago, we went to the mountains in Ubrique and lived in the mountains for about 6-7 months there.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So, yeah, it was very nice. It was no English people in the area, only Spanish people there. So my Spanish was very, very bad, and still is. But I had a great time.
Where do you get your opinion from? Have you been to Spain, or do you know some Spanish people?
Oh yes, I've been to Spain quite a few times, and
Yeah.
also here in Brighton, there's a lot of Spanish people.
It's very true. You live in the UK?
Yeah, I've lived in the UK for 6 years now.
Okay. So then, now that you're living in the UK, do you see any odd kind of cliches or stereotypes that English people tend to think of when you think of Spanish people?
Not really. Like the cliches and all that. Like it, it doesn't like they don't like show how to explain. They don't say anything about the people. It's like the Italians doing like this.
Yeah.
For example, I don't go in the street and all the Italians are doing like this, It's just kind of the same, right? Like for the Spanish people, like maybe the cliche is Sevillanas or ole ole, but I'm from Madrid, and that's not the image of Spain for me,
From your experience, is there any correlation between your experience and the sort of a stereotype or a cliche that you've sort of seen through TV or news? Is there a contrast, or do they sort of meet up?
No, I wouldn't say there's a contrast necessarily. I think if you look back years and years, 40 plus years, they're perhaps comedies from the past where there's been a very sort of stereotypical view of Spanish people, but certainly nowadays I think it's very few and far between from my experience.
They're quite highly strung, and I don't think they like the Brits living there.
Right, okay. This video is sponsored by italki, the site that allows you to find online language teachers for one-on-one tutoring. As a new user, you'll get $10 in italki credits after your first lesson if you register using the link go.italki.com/easy English. If you don't like reading complicated language books or listening to pre-recorded audio courses, then italki is for you. You'll get to practice your conversational skills under different real-world scenarios, as speaking with humans is the best way to learn a language. You can customize your lessons to cater for your learning needs and interests, and the one-on-one lessons provide you undivided attention with teachers at your preferred time, whether you're at home, at the airport, or at your local park. You have complete access. So head on over to italki with this link, go.italki.com/easy English to start your first lesson and get $10 in lesson credits. As we mentioned before, our friends at Easy Spanish have made a video asking what the Spanish think of the Brits in Barcelona. But first, we want to know what Sarah thinks of us Brits.
Hello, Easy English. Mi opinión sobre los ingleses. A ver, personalmente, no he estado en Gran Bretaña, entonces mi opinión se basa en la gente que conozco. Conozco a Harry, es inglés y es nuestro cameraman. Entonces, él es muy majo, es muy simpático, muy amable. Por tanto, tengo una buena opinión. Así de estereotipos, pues hemos escuchado que los ingleses beben mucho, bueno, un montón de cosas, pero cosas buenas también, que son muy positivos con el tiempo, que, bueno, espero poder descubrirlo pronto.
Pues al menos los que yo conozco les encanta la fiesta, les encanta tomar alcohol, son muy abiertos, les gusta conocer gente y ya, eso es lo que sé.
Buenas personas y que gastan mucho dinero, que les gusta mucho la cerveza, ampare, que hacen un montón de borrachos los británicos. Venga, ¿alguna pregunta más?
Bueno, por ejemplo, esto de borrachos, ¿no? Ajá. O sea, no quiero decirlo en plan mal, ¿eh?
¿Ya?
Pero sí, borrachos, fiesteros, liantes, ¿no? Pero porque la cultura es así. Allí la cultura es una cultura de beber mucho, aquí es salir mucho por la calle. ¿Sí? Y allí, como está todo el día lloviendo, hay mal tiempo, hay tal, pues a lo mejor sí que un poco estás en el pub, va una, va otra y cae otra. Y
se les va bien.
Sí, siempre están para tomar una cerveza y siempre alegres.
Personalmente son gente que me caen bien, tienen una apertura mental que en lo cultural que me atrae mucho.
What would you take from Spanish culture or a Spanish character trait? What would you put into English, into the UK, which would help us improve? Do you know what I mean?
More open with their emotion.
Yeah. Would you take this and this sort of relaxed eating?
Yeah.
And the whole thing.
Their diet's a big thing.
That's true. They eat very good, much better food than us. Is the
Family. They're very family oriented.
Yes,
I think that's something.
Yeah. Nicely said.
like more sort of contact with across the generations. Is the impression I get. Like with bigger families.
They often go out in big family groups.
Yeah, and that's nice. I think it'd be nice if we did it here a bit more.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Their attitude is so simple and so effective, and they are really passionate about looking after their family first, and are really focused and dedicated on one thing at a time rather than spreading themselves too thin.
Nicely said. As someone who's lived there, what would you take from, let's say, the culture or character trait of Spanish? What would you take and install into British life?
Just a little bit more laid back.
Yeah?
A little bit more relaxed, yeah. I mean, it's like, I remember sort of going to Spain and you could eat there all day and they wouldn't ask for the money until you left. I was like, when you get back to England, it's like as soon as you arrive, they want the money, they want it, you know. And I found when we lived out there and we came back, it was almost like, you know, they want the money before you, you know, before you even sat down.
And from those places you've been to, what would you say that we could adopt from the Spanish in Britain?
A siesta. a siesta,
Yeah.
cheaper wine, tapas,
Yeah.
and better weather.
Perfect. If there was something about, maybe not a characteristic, but maybe a traditional thing or a culture thing that you could bring to the UK from Spain that would improve the UK, do you have an idea what that might be?
Oh, I've never thought about that. I think possibly honesty.
Yeah?
I think that the Spanish are very honest, open.
Right.
They say what they think, whereas the English tend to be slightly hypocritical.
Beat around the bush a little bit.
Yes, a bit over polite.
Okay. Oh, that's good, I like that. And then from your experience being in Spain, what would you like from Spain in the UK? Is there anything that you think, oh, that's brilliant, I wish we had that?
The weather.
And also I liked that they had loads of pools in all the hotels, but then here we don't really have many.
This is good, I like this.
And the outdoors eating, everything is much more social.
What would you take, do you think, from
Spanish culture?
Yeah.
Just the lifestyle, the way the totally laid back lifestyle. Eating very late, I got used to. And the history behind it, the Spanish history, if we dig deep into it, is fascinating. The arts movement, whether, as you said, Barcelona, it's just every corner you turn around, there's something new to see. And I just wish more people would actually, when they go to Spain, go to see the real kind of Spanish side.
As someone who was born in Spain, now lives in the UK, what could British people adopt from Spain which would improve Britain, you think? Either a cultural thing or...
The sun. That's the first thing and the only thing.
Yeah. And what about like a cultural thing, like an attitude thing, or?
Yeah, I think maybe, but everything is related. The culture is related to the sun as well, because we are like a bit more laid back.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, yeah, I think, but that's because of the sun as well, right? It is.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. Let us know in the comments below your opinions of the Spanish, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Okay, so please tell me, what did you think about the Spanish? Is this positive? And then last question, what do you think the Spanish will say about us?
Miserable.